All right, I'm not too big to say I told you so. I am not. What's up, everybody? This is your boy Timothy Apollo. Like, subscribe, share. So let's talk about Teela and the Masters of the Universe. Spoilers, okay? I'm gonna let you guys know right now. Spoilers. I don't even know where to start with this woke SJW debacle. First of all, let me start off by saying do not support this movie. Stop supporting Kevin Smith. Cut it, cease, and desist. Stop. First of all, I watched the whole season, okay? The whole first season of Masters of the Universe. You get to see He-Man, and I'm not talking about Prince Adam because Prince Adam you don't really get no action with. You get to see He-Man for a total of 6 to 7 minutes. And I'm being generous about that, okay? I'm not being disingenuous. People, listen here. Do not, okay? This movie is strictly about Teela. So, here's the deal, y'all. First of all, they kill off Orko, just like I said. Orko and I'm gonna work my way to He-Man and Teela for you guys, okay? Orko has this big battle with Scareglow Skeletor. You know, Orko goes in. It's a pretty decent battle. They let Orko go out, on a high note. Now, the synopsis of the story is that during a battle with Skeletor, and this is the prequel to the 1983 He-Man, okay, created by Filmation. This isn't the 2000. This is the sequel to the 2000 He-Man. This is the sequel to the 1983 He-Man. So they're taking you back to 1983. They show He-Man goes in. Skeletor actually tricks sorcerers. She takes Fakor there, but Fakor is not blue. Fakor looks just like He-Man. Okay, takes Fakor, tricks the sorcerers. He infiltrates Castle Grayskull. Skeletor lets her know, he's like, yo, princess, look. Sorcerers, look. I know that the whole Castle Grayskull thing, I've been going the wrong direction with it. Castle Grayskull itself is just a facade, okay? It's just a cover-up for the Hall of Wisdom. Yeah, the Castle Grayskull gets a temporary makeover. It turns into crystal or whatever. Skeletor goes to the bottom of Castle Grayskull, okay, where later on he meets up with He-Man. They fight, they battle. Believe it or not, Skeletor just fries Mossman. Mossman comes in there because, Skeletor is actually getting a little bit of ground upon He-Man. They watered him down a little bit. I'm just being real with you guys. They watered He-Man down a little bit, okay? So Mossman comes in, Skeletor fries him with the Havoc staff. He-Man gets mad. He-Man's like, no. Believe it or not, He-Man runs and he rams the sword. He impales Skeletor with the sword. Skeletor did that on purpose. That was a tactic, okay? What Skeletor did, he fried Mossman. He stood in front of the orb, the door to the orb, knowing that only He-Man's sword could unlock the door. So, He-Man unlocked the door. When he stabbed Skeletor with the sword, that unlocks the door to the orb. Now, here's the thing about it. At that moment, okay, Skeletor, I guess he puts himself into some sort of suspended animation. He goes into Evil Lynn's little wand or whatever. The orb is compromised, okay? The orb is about to explode, carrying everybody with them. So the deal is the Sword of Power acts as a conduit for magic, So in other words, He-Man turns himself into some type of conductor. He takes the Sword of Power, he splits the Sword of Power, okay? He uses his own body as a conductor. At that moment, all that energy going through He-Man, okay? It turns Battle Cat back into Cringer. It turns He-Man back into Adam, only before disintegrating him. Only He-Man, because he's, conducting the energy. Teela looks, she's like, no way, that's Battle Cat. He-Man was Adam. So from there, she's like, I'm done with magic. Go back to the castle. Man at Arms is Man at Arms is told you can no longer be Man at Arms, of my army, which already he was passing the torch to Teela. And like, just, it's a whole debacle. Okay. Come to find out, He-Man's mom already knew that he was He-Man. King Randor didn't know. He gets furious when Man at Arms tells him, "Hey, look, we didn't want to tell you. I didn't know that she knew, but hey, look, your son is He-Man. He's dead." Randor throws him out the castle. Get out. I don't want to see you again. If I hear about you as much as fixing a doorknob, I have you beheaded. Cool. Teela is like, no, I don't want no part of this. All y'all been lying. Everybody knew about He-Man but me. Hey, I'm done. So right then and there, she becomes ill-tempered about magic. She's like, I don't want nothing else to do with magic. Look at what magic has done. Hey, we can fix things, this and that, yada, yada, yada. Her and her black friend go on. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something. I reiterate, if you're watching this to see He-Man, you can hang it up. You see He-Man for about 7 minutes tops. You get to see Roboto. Okay, Roboto gets killed. He gets killed by welding the power sword back together. Oh, and by the way, let me explain this to you guys, okay? What goes on with the power sword is that after He-Man is vaporized from putting the power sword back together, he dies, okay? Seriously, he dies. He's sent to Pretarnia, okay? You've got heaven and hell. In Eternia, heaven is Pretarnia, hell is Subtarnia. So cool, they have to go down there and get both halves of the sword. Skeletor, which is Scareglow Skeletor, has one half of the sword, the half of the sword that's created from Subtarnia. Prince Adam, of course, has the other half of the sword, which is in heaven, Pretarnia. So she goes down there first to Subtarnia. Teela battles Skeletor, which turns itself into He-Man, and then turns itself into Teela, to battle, and then beats Skeletor, Scareglow Skeletor, which then she exhibits some type of power of her own, go figure. Who knows? She gets out of there. Scareglow battles Orko. Orko beats him, but blows himself up and trapping him. Who knows? Maybe he'll come back. Now, they go to Pretarnia. She goes there to get the other half of the sword. Hey, come to find out that Adam is there as Adam. Everybody there gets to choose their own form, henceforth, heaven, Pretarnia, or whatever. Go there, gets the other half of the sword. Come to find out that instead of Man at Arms going, they actually sent Roboto, because Roboto is a smart AI. Okay, he knows everything Man at Arms does. He goes, he repairs the sword explodes. Hey, kills Roboto. They get back to Eternia. Okay, they get back to Eternia. She's like, yo, Adam, I don't know if you want to go. I don't know if you want to come or not. Okay, cool. Pookie, I'm sorry. King Grayskull says, yo, look, and Hero and everybody there says, hey, look, if you leave Pretarnia, you die again, you may not come back. Okay, Mossman even informs them these are services rendered. Now you're still not getting He-Man, you're getting Adam. So they make it back to Eternia. They go there, they make it back. Hey, He-Man does the whole, hey, I have the power. Here's the kicker, okay? When they get there and they do it, guess what? Out of nowhere, okay, He-Man's like, Adam's like, by the power of grace. Then Skeletor comes and skewers He-Man. That's right. He-Man is killed at the end of this movie. He-Man is killed. Now, don't get me wrong. They may bring him back, but Skeletor, he gives him a pretty decent wound. He stabs him through the side, okay? He doesn't even turn into He-Man again. I repeat, you get probably about 5 minutes of He-Man tops. And some of those minutes are flashbacks. Seriously, some of those minutes are flashbacks. Matter of fact, initially, it's the flashback showing you what happened in the 1983 version of He-Man that led to He-Man getting killed. So everything you see of He-Man is a flashback. This is Teela's movie. Seriously, this is Teela's show. You know? Now, here's one thing I can appreciate they did. Okay, this is one thing I can appreciate they did. Oh yeah, don't let me forget to tell you guys. The animation was like, out of a scale of 1 to 10, animation was like, I want to say it's 7.75. The action was a strong 8. Okay, they had some decent fight scenes in there. And the plot was pretty thick. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, the plot was pretty thick. Now, here is what I really appreciated them doing. Okay, so at the end, after Skeletor stabs He-Man, okay, with I think it was with the other end of the Havoc staff or whatever. After he stabs He-Man, he actually picks up the sword. Okay, he picks up the sword and he raises it. And when he did this, I'm like, oh snap! He raises the sword and he utters the goddamn words. He says, by the power of Grayskull. I mean, Skeletor is up there flexing with the sword. I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's cool. He's flexing with the sword, and you guys, believe it or not, my man pulled it off. I have the power. Okay? And hey, he was like, yo, I'm going to become a god behind this. Okay? So at the end of it, they show him up over the castle. He's some type of huge magical being. And that's pretty much that. Overall, the whole cartoon minus Kevin Smith lying to us, I'm gonna say it was like a 8.5. It wasn't bad. We was just misled because we wanted to see our protagonist in there. Okay, the antagonist Skeletor, he got more time than He-Man, but he still didn't get that much time. Like I say again, Orko dies. Okay, throughout the whole movie, Orko is sick. You know, because of the lack of magic. So I'm going to tell you guys right now. Don't get me wrong, don't get me wrong, don't get me wrong. The first season of Masters of the Universe was okay. But don't support it because it would have been better with He-Man. Okay? This was a bold SJW shenanigan attack. Okay, hell, at one time, I even hear He-Man utter the words to Teela, hey, look, I'm not going in there unless you go. And when in the hell does He-Man follow Teela? You know, I could see if it was Adam saying something like that, but He-Man utters the words. I mean, what can Teela protect He-Man from that He-Man can't protect He-Man from? You know? So anyway, people, like I said again, you know, animation was good, the action was good, the plot was good, the whole movie was a lie. Do not support this movie, okay? Because if you guys support this movie by watching it or buying any of the figures, then guess what? They're going to keep on making this woke garbage, okay? And that's not what we signed up for. We signed up for He-Man, and we wanted He-Man. But we got Teela. You know, my bad, Teela and her girlfriend. Which, as you can see throughout the show, throughout the season, that she expresses, in her own way, she expresses subtle feelings for her sidekick, her partner, or whatever we're to call her. Well, anyway, y'all, look here. This is your boy, Timothy Apollo. Like, subscribe, share. Let me know at the bottom what you guys think about, you know, this whole switcheroonie. You know, do you guys prefer to be misled when they say, hey, this is a show, or when Kevin Smith bluntly says this is a show about He-Man and the Masters? Okay? Or do you guys prefer what was supposed to be given to you? Oh yeah, and by the way, you Kevin Smith,